All right, so I'm gonna lift some weights. Let's try this. We're gonna do stretch out. Well, this is what I've been thinking about starting my social media brand and really trying to build this YouTube channel out again, and TikTok and Instagram is, I've been watching this guy, Ali Abdaal, and for the most part, he doesn't really do a lot of interviews. He does a lot of solo videos, and there are a lot of podcasters who do solo interviews, or not solo interviews, but basically just film themselves. And what they do is they just talk in the camera, and that's kind of what I want to do. I would like to do podcasts because I do like good conversations, but I get nervous around people, especially people I don't know really well. And actually, I get nervous just filming with other people. I'm really like a loner. I guess that's what you would call it. I just like being by myself. I absolutely love being by myself. Something about it. I do need human contact. I'm married, I have 3 kids, but like, I just, something about like, I'm just very introverted. But I'm not introverted to a way where like, I'm introverted to a point where I have social anxiety, I guess you can say. Actually, the social anxiety comes from having high neuroticism, I think. But I think more about what the issue that I have is just having to conform to other people. Like when I have to host somebody or I have to account for someone else's feelings that I don't know. That sounds so terrible. I don't like accounting for other people's feelings. There is something really wonderful about being alone. I really do like it. And if you feel guilty about being alone or being by yourself, I don't think you ever should. It's just a wonderful thing to just kind of have your own space. I will tell you though that there's a big negative to that. You actually do need other people if you want to live a really full life. Having to manage and deal with other people. I mean, I'm married, I have 3 beautiful children. I have a business partnership. I did join a Bible study about almost 2 years ago, and that has been pretty fruitful. But I absolutely hate going to live events. But don't ever feel guilty, if you like it. I just think that you just have to remember that a lot of growth comes from interacting with other people. I mean, at least that's what I've been trying to teach myself, train myself, because for me to get to the next level that I want to get to for myself, I have to interact with people. And if I keep avoiding the inevitable, or I'm basically avoiding growth, because the thing is, the anxiety that I feel a lot of the time when I interact with people, what I found that I just learn a lot about myself. I don't like how it feels. And sometimes my anxiety makes it so that the situation is worse than it is, like having to go to like a meetup or something, right? But I learned so much about myself that being able to just, I don't know, just be able to like learn, right? Being able to, anyways, that's sort of my paradigm right now. It's just like, okay, I need to interact with people. I need to be less introverted because I need to learn more about who I am. And that's the thing. You really don't know where you stand if you don't know what's out there. Because the problem that I have is I like to predict things. I like to over predict, which exacerbates the anxiety that I have. But the over prediction is always wrong. Most interactions with people are never as bad as they are. It's always the anticipation that's bad. And interaction always comes out better. Okay, that feels a little better. I had this dream once, or a dream or goal, that I wanted to build a following. I wanted to build an audience, right? And one of the reasons why I wanted to build an audience is so that I could make a living online and work from anywhere in the world. And somewhere along the way, I learned copywriting, I learned a lot about marketing, learned a lot about email, learned about conversion rates, CPA, cost per acquisition. I learned how to do a lot of these things. And I learned how to build a business. I guess I got lucky, got a little luck, and I was able to meet with somebody, start a business with them, and basically become financially free, make $1 million. And it's been real fruitful. But this itch, this scratch, this little tug of wanting to make a video like this, do a podcast, and really put content out there kind of fell to the wayside. And a lot of it was because I don't need to do it anymore, right? I can just do the other thing. But the problem I'm finding about doing the other thing is that it's not as fulfilling. You know, as a coach for like 10 plus years or 17 years, personal trainer, and I really miss being able to coach. And by making content, I get to coach, I get to teach, I get to connect in a way that I want to connect. So my dream is to really build a following, to connect with people with content, the stuff that I like to make, to have the talks and conversations that I like to talk about. And another way I'm sort of looking at this for myself is that I'm trying to figure out a way to grow more personally. And the way I can do this is by putting myself out there and creating good content. At the same time, building a team, right? Because I got 2 editors, got a project manager, I got 2 other people helping me with these, I got a staff, but I want to build it and make it more high performing. So it gives me another challenge to give people jobs, to have people come along with the ride with me that want to be a part of it. All while achieving this goal, all while building this new social media outlet. All right, let's go a little heavier. These 10-pound weights are not good. You know, I was going through some goals and I wrote this down. One of my goals was to make $100 online per day, right? This was in 2015. I was making $45,000 actually as a personal trainer. That was one of my goals, is to make $100 online a day. Achieve that goal, of course. Oh, I wanted to put my kids through college, be able to make enough money to put my kids through college. And another one on there, number 3, which I was surprised to look at, was to become a speaker. And kind of part of me is thinking like, well, this whole social media influencer type thing, I've talked myself out of it over the past couple of years since having some success in building a business and getting to the main goal, which was to be able to work from anywhere, being able to support my family and have a really good lifestyle. But that goal of wanting to be a speaker, which means, you know, speaking in front of a camera, it means speaking on stage. There's a lot to that I want, or it's still in me. I think that if I die, I get to 85 years old, 100 years old, or however old I get, God willing, I'm going to regret it if I don't make the effort to try. Because I've been basically fooling myself into thinking that the reason why I don't want to do it is because it's not worth it to me. Like I could do other things that make more money. Well, it turns out once you make a certain amount of money, the money doesn't matter as much as how it makes you feel to make the money, and also how you find yourself growing. Because no matter how much money you make, if you don't feel like you're growing, if you don't feel like you're improving in some way, or if you don't feel like you're improving enough, you feel stagnant. You feel that whole trope of like money doesn't buy you happiness. Because once you get to a certain level, or it doesn't matter what level you get, once you get to the level that you aspire to, you hit the notch and then you're like done. And you can stay there and you can enjoy it for a little bit, because we did. You know, we rode first class, we bought a big house, bought another house, worked from home, kids in private school, and I'm pouring into my children. But it's not enough. I mean, it's enough for them, but it's not enough for me. Like, I have to do something for me. You know who's a big inspiration to me is Casey Neistat. I remember watching his videos when he was doing the daily vlog. He was I like to tell his life story. Like, he had a kid when he was 16 years old, dirt poor, left his home when he was young, saw 9/11, saw so many different things. And he has this really amazing attitude towards life. I think more than anything, maybe I look up to him a lot. He puts himself out there. He shares his art with the world. I think another thing too that he does, I mean, he has kids, you know, having a kid. You know, when you see people who are similar to you achieving the goal that you want, you know, it kind of puts all your excuses to rest, right? Every time you say you don't want to do it, it's because you're really afraid. And you know you're afraid. You're fooling yourself. It's not because if you did something else, you'd be more motivated, or that you'd make more money if you do something else, is what I mean. The reality is the reason why you're not doing it is you know the reason. You're afraid. And one of the reasons why you haven't been feeling good about yourself over the past couple of years is because you're leaving potential on the table of what you can do. You've been too caught up in the result. You've been too caught up in what you've been achieving, money in the bank. And you keep telling yourself, like, okay, you can always do the social influencer stuff later, right? Do it. Because if you do it, it's going to bring you back to life. It's going to give you more energy. You're going to be able to do more because you're going to feel better about yourself. It's not about time, it's about energy. And one of the reasons why your energy has been so low is because you've been staying inside your comfort zone. You haven't been pushing yourself to do things that force you to grow. But I can do this. I can just make a video, record, talk about what's going through my head. One of the things that used to motivate me, actually it still does, is getting down on myself, calling myself a pussy, calling myself weak. And I think to some degree, that's okay, it works, right? It motivates me. It motivates me to push myself. But it's not very good long term. I need something positive to drive me. So I've returned to a book that I haven't read in a while. It's called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And basically the whole idea of the book is loving yourself. You know, it sounds pretty hokey, but the main exercise is you say, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. That's all you do. And you just think it. And it's funny how it actually works for me. It might not work for you, but it works for me because reality is all the things you hate and dislike about life, about people, about the world, you know, all you're doing is you're projecting. You're showing, you're telling other people, anytime you're frustrated or you're irritated or you're mad or you're unhappy, or your family members, those are just things you hate about yourself. And the negativity just creeps into my head. Drives me crazy. Makes me feel crazy. I have mental illness that runs in my family. Mental illness runs in my family, schizophrenia, bipolar, a lot of diabetes. That's not mental illness, but they say Alzheimer's and bipolar is basically diabetes of the brain. All right, last set. Let's make it good. I'm just gonna do like a bunch of reps, hella. You know, one of my dreams is actually to have a gym like this size. It seems like about maybe 3,000, probably a little bit, just a little bit too big, but 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of just pure gym space, just for me. Be my office. That's my goal. Bye. I would love that. Why? I grew up in it. I worked in it for 17 years. It feels like home. Yes, that's my goal. To be able to afford a gym for myself. How much would that cost? I do this thing where like I'm heavy breathing, I feel tired, I feel like shit. I feel like I'm out of shape, right? The funny part about it is when you work out, you get tired. And I get tired. It's normal. It's fine to be tired when you work out. But tired is normal. It's part of being human. Why should I get mad at myself for being tired? And even if I get in more shape, I'm going to push myself to this limit regardless, this feeling. The weights may be heavier, the reps may be faster, or I might be doing more volume. But I'm still going to feel this tired because I'm going to push myself at least this hard. Just goes to show, if you want to feel good and move forward, make progress for the long term, you have to push. You have to push and guide yourself. So let's do that. Speaking of tired, there's this guy, also follow online, Patrick Bet-David. Love his content. His videos helped me a lot through some negotiations I had to do. He's really big, has like 200 million in the bank, cash, smart guy. And I'm bringing him up because he has this video he made that was called like, he hates the word tired, you know? He hates it. He probably hates the word because of what tired means to him. And I don't like the word tired because I don't like to feel tired. I also admire Patrick Bet-David, so if he thinks this tired is a bad word, I admire him, therefore I probably might agree with him. So I got to give this video to my editors. I just came up with a pretty cool idea. Because, you know, I'm new to the social media thing and I haven't really hired editors before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them this footage. I'm going to give them some rules to follow. And then I want to see their creativity, see who can produce the better show. Or the better video. So the first person, or the first rule is, I want to keep my working sets in there. So if I'm doing reps, keep it in the video. You know, I just thought what a pretty cool idea would be, well, you just have me talking while I'm doing reps. You know, like I'm talking right now, but then the B-roll will be me doing rows or something, right? I don't know how you put that together. Maybe it doesn't have to be for everything, but that's just kind of a creative way of doing it. But the first rule is to keep my working sets footage in there where I'm like doing reps, right? Because I know that people like watching that stuff. And it is interesting to watch, especially when there's talking overlay over it. This is the first rule. The second rule, I kind of want to give like a certain amount of hours allocated to it. So probably no more than 25 hours of editing time on this, right? Because in this video, with all this footage, you can spend a lot of time on it. So maybe the cap will be 25 hours. That'll be the second rule. Well, but maybe not. Maybe the thing is just to produce the best show possible. If it takes you 100 hours to produce the best show, you'll spend that much. If it only takes you 10 hours to produce the best show, you'll spend 10 hours. The problem is the incentives aren't in line because editors are usually paid by the hour. So the incentives are not lined up because they're going to want to work on as long as possible so they get paid more. I mean, they're going to be as honest as they can. I know they will. But it's just human nature. We're going to always gravitate towards what motivates us or what guides our principles. So I don't want to put that as a rule. So number one, keep working set footage in there. Number two, produce the best show you possibly can within a reasonable amount of time, right? What will be a third rule? I guess I only have two rules. If you've ever hired an editor before or worked with editors, I'm really curious, kind of how would you do it, right? You know, a friend of mine does Bible study. I'm in his Bible study, and I'm thinking about, I just had this thought today, should I run my own Bible study? Because he does Bible studies. means trying to get Christ out to other people. And I think it would be really good for me to do that and be a leader. Or I'm going to lose, not that I don't have time, I'm going to lose time to do other things. But what's more important than leading other people, right? I mean, arguably, I am a good leader, right? I have a lot of experience. I'm older. Running my own Bible study would be a really great personal growth journey. How would I do that? Well, it has to be at a specific time at a specific place. You know, I walked in here with a plan of the workout I'm going to do, and I'm not feeling up to it. Why? Because shoulder's not feeling great, so I have to change, I have to pivot. I think what's important is that the lesson here is going in with a plan is better than none at all. Because, at least for the workout, what I've noticed, if I put a plan together, even if I do it while I'm on the treadmill, I have a minimum amount of work I'm going to finish, especially when I'm not motivated. It's always 16 sets, like 4 sets of 4 exercises, 4, 8, 12, 16, yeah, that's right. Or 5 exercises, roughly 3 to 4 sets each. But sometimes things don't work out great, so you pivot and you make a change. And that's really like a lot of life. Like maybe you want to make $1 million, maybe you want to be successful with a certain product, and the way you get to that $1 million or $100,000 or whatever number you get to doesn't come out in the way that you set a goal to. So you have to make changes. You have to change your product, you have to change the way you make it, you have to change your market, you have to change your focus. And that's good because you have the goal to get there, and that means you're being flexible to change the way you get there, right? One of the things that I'm trying to focus on for myself: courage, certainty, faith, confidence, adaptability, flexibility. A lot of that are kind of the same thing. Or conviction is the other one. When I say these words, they make me feel powerful. Like making this video takes some courage, because making a video when there are other people around feels really awkward. Another example seems kind of silly, but my wife and I, when we go tipping, makes me feel awkward all the time, you know? And if I feel awkward tipping and I don't tip because I'm afraid to, I'm not living up to those words, which would be courage. What are your words? What words do you want to live up to?